Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today, Ark has released a ton of previews for the Dino TLC patch. Now, if you guys don't know what this is, it is a tender love and care patch that they promised a long time ago. They said that they were going to do it eventually, and we're finally going to be getting it in 2018. This is a patch that essentially will go through a lot of the original kind of creatures and revamp them, give them new abilities, give them new models now. We didn't know that originally, but they're getting new models, which is just amazing, and just so much more to make them a little bit more in-depth. So we're going to be going through 5 of the previews that they have released. Some of these got released a couple weeks back, but now we have more information on those, so I decided to do a video right now. Anyway guys, let's get right into this. Make sure that you hit the like button if you found yourself enjoying this video at any point. And yeah, let's go. Okay, so the first one that we're going to be looking at is the Direbear. Now this one was kind of a surprise to me because, to be honest, the original Direbear model, I was pretty happy with that, but now seeing what they're going to be making it into, I am so happy. This new Direbear looks amazing. One thing I have to point out now that I look at the original one's fur almost looks like tiny little feathers, you know? If you guys can see that, it almost looks like tiny little feathers for some reason. This new thing's fur looks amazing. It's just so high definition. It's like tiny little strands instead of giant chunks like the first one. The face, its nose, like the snout is much more pronounced. It looks like it comes out a lot more rather than kind of being a little bit pig-nosed. The mouth is like, the jaw is kind of like a little bit of a different shape. As you can see, it's kind of more square at the bottom there. The eyes are like a lot wider and bigger as well. The first one's kind of eyes look really wimpy compared to this one, and honestly this new model just in general looks amazing. Now if you guys can see right here, they are roughly around the same size. It looks like the new one's a little bit taller in around kind of where the shoulder blade backbone is. It looks like that's kind of going up a little bit, and that obviously is because bears can stand up on their hind legs and they have very strong arms, so that's obviously all that muscle and that bone and everything. Man, I gotta say, like, this new Direbear looks fantastic. Now, one thing I want to point out is I don't actually know if they're going to be redoing the saddles. I really hope they are, because some of the saddle designs from Aberration were fantastic. I really hope they take some of those aspects and put them into some of these creatures here, because seriously, this new Direbear looks amazing, and I'd love a brand new saddle for it. Anyway, what do you guys think of the Direbear? Holy crap, it looks amazing. Anyway, let's get on to what it can do, because it's not just a visual change, it can also do some new things. Now, the Direbear, out of all of these ones here, the Direbear probably has the least little additions, but it has some pretty cool stuff anyway. So the Direbear will be able to attack beehives and get double the honey. It's going to be able to just harvest from the beehive, get the honey, double the amount that you'll be able to harvest by yourself. So getting honey with these things is going to be something that you're going to want to be doing. Also, they can get the honey without actually aggroing the bees inside the hive, which is also really amazing, because going up to these beehives is kind of dangerous, because you do have to be able to take them out. They can inflict torpor, they can knock you off your mount. With the Direbear, you can walk up, collect your honey without having to do anything, and also, if you were being attacked by bees, like enemy bees, like, you know, another tribe's bees or whatever, the Direbear, you're not going to get knocked off its back if you're riding a Direbear, which is fantastic. That honestly is a really great change. It kind of gives this creature a use, rather than just, you know, running around killing and harvesting fiber. You can also harvest honey, which is also really handy in the game for a lot of things like making tasty cakes or whatever. Of course, you could just tame a bee and keep your own beehive, but I mean, like, come on, you wanna go around stealing honey from all those hives with this thing. Oh man, it looks amazing. What do you guys think of it? Let me know down below. So the next change is the Procoptodon, the giant kangaroo in Ark. I always thought this thing looked really derpy. I was never a big fan of this creature. I mean, look at its face. That kind of, you know, come on. It looks really dumb. I was never a fan of this creature. I think it's cool to jump around on these things, but they look so frickin' derpy, and they do not have a kick attack. Now, with the new model, the face looks fantastic. It kind of takes away from this, I don't even know, the old one kind of looked like it had like a bit of a beard. This new one looks like an actual kangaroo. It looks amazing. The ears and everything are a little bit wider, a little bit bigger. The face just looks a lot better, more pronounced. It actually, to be honest, like in the first picture, just looks like a rabbit. It really does. Then the other one on the other side looks like that ugly rabbit that nobody wants to buy. What else can this thing like, I mean, like, look at the body as well. The fur on it is just fantastic. The pouch, you can actually see the pouch now. It's not covered up by fur or anything like the original model. The tail kind of looks in around the same size, and in general they look around the same height. I doubt they would actually change that too much because the kangaroo is not actually massive, I guess. It's pretty big, but it's not giant. So yeah, the Procoptodon, what do you guys think of that model? I honestly think it's a really great change. Definitely one that was needed. The other one kind of looks like a round face. It's really ugly. I don't like it at all. The new Procoptodon looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to actually get into taming some of these things and actually using them because they have some great abilities. So this thing's getting a lot of new stuff, okay? So first of all, the Procoptodon is going to take reduced fall damage, which is something that it needed. I mean, creatures that jump like this should be able to take a lot of, like, should be able to fall down like very big heights and not take very much fall damage at all. I'm really hoping that it's going to be a little bit closer to aberration creatures rather than the frog, because the frog still takes a little bit of damage, or maybe close to the Thyla when the Thyla is jumping off things, because Thylas take like little to no fall damage at all. The Procoptodon is going to take less fall damage. It's great. It's also going to get a carry weight buff, which is fantastic for just getting things around. Like, you can, honestly, these things are really good if you're like just jumping from place to place. You can definitely bring your materials and like do runs back from your Anki or whatever. But yeah, with the increased weight is going to be fantastic. And it's also going to get the ability to carry baby dinos and small creatures in its pouch. This is fantastic. This is a really great idea. The fact that you can actually, if you're raising up dinos, you put them into its pouch to keep them safe, first of all, okay? But you could also transport your dinos from wherever to a new area. I mean, like, if you had, I don't know, like, can you put anything into this pouch, actually? I wonder, could I put like a baby wyvern into this pouch? I really hope every little baby model has like a proper sit in and kind of like peek out animation or something, rather than just making the pouch giant and saying that there is a creature in there. But I don't know actually which direction they're gonna go, whether or not we're actually gonna be able to see the dino or not. Either way, just being able to move around your baby dinos is fantastic. That is a really great idea. Also, you can put small creatures in there. So that means like shoulder pets? Does that mean like you could put a Lystro in there? Because if you could put a Lystro in there, that would be fantastic. But it just says small creatures. I assume that would mean creatures up to the size of around a Lystro or something like that. So that's pretty handy. I mean, I really like that change. It's honestly gonna give this creature a proper use, because I mean, like, it's a cool creature and all, but the fact now that it's becoming like the nanny to baby dinos, that's gonna make it really, really useful. So what do you guys think of the Procoptodon changes? I mean, like, I don't think anybody's gonna argue that the new model is fantastic and the old model looks like crap. I mean, holy crap. Anyway, let's get on to the next one. Also, wait, hang on. No. This thing also has a kick. It has a kick attack, which is something that we wanted from the start as well. And it didn't make sense that we didn't get one. So yeah, kick attack, fantastic. So the next change is to the Gigantopithecus. And this is honestly a really, really great change. This was one that was released, it was like shown off about a month ago or so. This thing looks really, really great. Just, I mean, like, there's no way that anybody likes the old model as compared to the new one. The new model is kind of like the new Planet of the Apes movies, and then the old model is kind of like those really old Planet of the Apes movies, you know, if you get me. This thing, just in general, like, I mean, like, what can you say? It looks fantastic. It really does. The face is the main thing that they changed. Just in general, the body looks a little bit bulkier, but pretty much the same. The feet are a little bit different. A lot, like the fur got changed up a little bit, but just in general, its face is the centerpiece of what they've changed. So obviously you can tell, it looks like an actual monkey rather than like a person dressed as a monkey. Like, oh my god, it looks fantastic. There's nothing really more I could say about it. I mean, you can see it right there. It looks absolutely fantastic. Let's get on to what it can do. So the Gigantopithecus is going to get a new attack. I don't know if it's going to replace one of its current ones. It probably will. It's going to have an armor degrading attack. So that means that when you're fighting, if you're on the mount and there's a player in like riot gear and you start smacking them with this certain attack, whether it be left click, right click, whatever, if you start smacking him with this, it's going to target mostly his armor rather than his health, which is fantastic because you can take out your player's armors really easily. This also would probably go towards if you were fighting on a Gigantopithecus against a Gigantopithecus, because as you guys know, these things wear helmets. Well, they can anyway. So does that mean that we can like break the other player's Gigantopithecus's helmet first? Possibly. Just in general, this is going to be fantastic. Just fighting on this thing is going to be a lot better. It's also getting some other stuff as well, but they wanted to mention that the fact that the Yeti, which is found in the snow cave, it's kind of like the alpha version of this creature. It's white, it's found in the snow cave only. That creature is not getting this armor degrading attack. I mean, that would be ridiculous because of the fact that there's so many of those in the ice cave. So yeah, they wanted to mention that part. Anyway, this creature is also getting a jumping ability. It's going to be able to jump, which is something that I kind of feel like it should have been able to do from the start. I mean, it is just a giant monkey. Like, monkeys, you know, apes, monkeys, they're just, you know, they're kind of like humans. You know, we can jump. Why can't the original one jump? I don't know why, but now it can, which is going to be really cool. They also stated that you're going to be able to jump, and the main reason for this is because you're going to be wanting to jump onto your zip lines. This creature's going to be able to go across zip lines. That is absolutely the best news I've ever heard. I'm just so happy about that part. They're giving zipline like movement to other creatures. Now, I'm really hoping that eventually they give it to the Thyla, but currently we only have the Ravagers able to go along a zipline. Now the Gigantopithecus will be able to as well, which is really fantastic. Really great change. Now that's kind of coming up with a little point that I have. Are they giving us zip lines on every map, or what's the deal, Wildcard? Do we have to bring them from Aberration? Because I don't think these things spawn in Aberration, so yeah, I don't know about that part. Hopefully we're gonna be able to have zip lines everywhere, because they're honestly one of the most useful things in Ark. Definitely, like, just for getting around or just having a large beast or whatever, zip lines are fantastic. These things are going to be able to get onto them now, which is really, really great. I can't wait to actually see these giant apes climbing across, and I'm kind of wondering, we're sitting on their shoulders usually, right? Like, that's how you ride a Gigantopithecus. How's it going to work if it's, like, on a zip line? I'm a little bit confused about that. Are we going to be, like, lower down on its back or something? Or is it going to have, like, one of those little baby pouches on the front and we sit in that or something? That would be really cool, actually. But anyway, yeah, that is the Gigantopithecus. Really, really great. It's also its throwing ability, as you guys know, you can throw yourself off the back. It's gonna be a little bit better. It's gonna be improved. It's gonna be closer to what the Carcanos can do. Obviously, if you guys have played Aberration, you have a Carcanos. Those things can throw really, really far. So obviously, this thing is getting a buff with the throwing, and it's also getting like a proper aiming system as well. Really fantastic changes. What do you guys think about this? Let me know down below. Okay, so the next creature getting a change is the Direwolf. I think a lot of people, ever since the Sabertooth got its change last summer, I think a lot of people really wanted Wildcard to do something to the Direwolf, and they're finally doing it. This new Direwolf looks 10 times better than the old one. I actually, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie here, I actually was kind of a fan of the old one. Now seeing this new one, like, again, they've just completely turned me. Now the old one looks like crap, and the new one looks amazing. It looks a lot more ferocious, it looks less cartoonish. The eyes, the snout, just everything about it. Its ears are more pointy. I think the body looks slightly bigger, but I might be wrong on that part. The claws are a lot more, like, pronounced as well. You can see the nails are actually coming out, they're longer, so oh man, just everything about this new Direwolf looks fantastic. What do you guys think of the model? Like the fur and everything, really, really good. Again, the old fur kind of looks like little, I don't know, it doesn't really look like feathers like the, whatever that was above the Direwolf, or the Direbear even. It kind of, I don't know, it looks like little worms of just like fur on the old one. But when you look at the new one, man, that fur looks just amazing. Oh man. Everything about it, it's just really cool. So what is this creature getting? Well, the Direwolf already is one of the most ridiculous creatures in the game because it's just so powerful. They've talked in the past about the possibility that they could be convinced to giving the Direwolf a saddle. They haven't mentioned it here, but I just wanted to state that point. Direwolves are already OP. The fact that they could possibly get a saddle wildcard would be up for doing that, potentially, would just be crazy. Imagine having saddles on your direwolves, and obviously when I'm talking about giving saddles, that means extra armor, so that means that they're tougher. You can't kill them as easily if they're enemy ones, of course. Wild ones, of course, don't. You know what I mean. Anyway, that's just a side point, okay? So what are the direwolves getting? Well, they are getting a kind of a different pack bonus. So currently, just having a bunch of direwolves around, one of them becomes the alpha, and all of the direwolves get like a pack bonus now. So when this update rolls out, we're gonna get this new kind of version of the pack bonus. When the alpha howls, it will essentially buff up all of the other creatures for, they're thinking around 5 minutes right now. So a buff for 5 minutes. So if you're like running out and hunting, you howl before you leave, and then you head out and you find creatures and kill them. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Anyway, so this buff thing will essentially buff up your whole pack. Everybody's gonna be a lot stronger, and it's gonna probably have like a cooldown between uses or something. Okay, so also the the pack bonus is gonna make the direwolves even stronger than they currently are. Direwolves are ridiculous. They're gonna become even stronger with this new pack bonus. That is insane. It really is. The alpha direwolf, when that howls as well, it's gonna make all of the other wolves howl as well. And they also talked about the fact that when the wild ones, when the wild alpha howls, all of the wild ones will howl, which is a nice little addition. I guess it makes it a little bit more realistic. So also, this thing is getting some new abilities as well. It's getting kind of this hunting ability where it's able to sniff out players or creatures with less than 50% health, and it's going to indicate them by like a little icon or something above their head to kind of point out where you need to go to find them. So finding people in like PvP that are like in a bad situation or whatever, they're heading back to base on their mount that's pretty hurt, you could hunt those players down. You could hunt down like T-Rexes that are on low health. You could like find out where battles are going on by just seeing a bunch of creatures on low health all together. Just in general, being able to run around on these direwolves as like a little pack is going to be a lot better, because you're going to be able to just find where the easy XP is and just level up and get your meat and everything from those things. Also, it's going to be able to detect the creatures in the ground, like, what are they called? Palavias and other stuff like that. Probably also deathworms, I'd imagine, and basilisks and everything else that goes into the ground. Maybe even Reaper Queens? I don't know. Hopefully. Maybe even Nameless as well. Oh my god, could you imagine? Okay, we're getting off track. Anyway, it's also going to be able to find Explorer Notes as well, which is going to be really handy. Again, if you can hunt down an Explorer Note and then hunt down a bunch of creatures that are on low health and kill them quickly, this thing's going to be a leveling machine. It really is. It's going to be just fantastic. So what do you guys think of the new Direwolf? I'm a big fan of all these new abilities and everything. It's really, really OP already. I mean, I think everybody can agree on that, and it's going to become even stronger. What do you guys think about that? Because I'm sure a lot of people will be opposed to that. A lot of people will be for that. Let me know down below. So the last creature to get a new model and new abilities is the Rex. Well, currently, I mean, there's a couple more. We'll talk about those in a sec. The Rex, look at this new model. Look at it. Just observe the wonder that is this new T-Rex model, and just look at the old one now. I think the old one's like, its upper jaw kind of is like very cartoonish. It kind of reminds me of like Barney or something. I don't know why. This new one has like this very pronounced snout. It's like very high detail. It's like its eyebrow, like the kind of like spike thing above its eyebrow is just like a little bit more pronounced as well. As you can see, the spikes are coming out a little bit more. It's darker as well. There's more depth to the face rather than just like, you know, round kind of edges and like curves and stuff like that. Just everything about this new T-Rex is just fantastic. I am a big fan of the T-Rex in general, and the fact that it's getting this amazing new model is something I'm really looking forward to. So as you can see in one of these images here, you can see them side by side. It looks like the old T-Rex is like kind of its hind legs there go a little bit higher than the new T-Rex. I think if you kind of look at its back, you can kind of see it a little bit more. Just in general, they look around the same height anyway. God damn, it just looks so amazing. Its tail and everything kind of looks the same. I don't really think they've done a whole lot to it. I think it's a little bit slimmer at the base, but in general, I think it's pretty much the same length and everything, and roughly the same kind of model on that bit. For the rest of its body, I mean, the claws, it's like its front little tiny little arms. The claws are a lot longer now. They curve back a lot more, as you can see, and to be honest, I mean, T-Rex's arms are like the most pointless things anyway. But yeah, I mean, they look a lot better anyway. Also, its neck has like these crazy like veins or something on it. It looks really, really cool. These spikes on its like on the top of its head and that lead down its spine and everything are a lot better as well. Just in general, the T-Rex's face is like the main centerpiece, and that looks fantastic. I cannot wait for this new model. What can this thing do? Well, as you guys know, T-Rexes are great. Like, they really are. They're honestly one of my favorite creatures to ride around on Ark. And unfortunately, they do have this little bit of an annoying kind of downside that I always found really, really frustrating when you're transporting dinos, especially T-Rexes, around the map, you know, maybe over to the obelisk or whatever. If they like walk up to like a rock, they always get stuck on them. They can never like find their way over or around. They always just get stuck on tiny little rocks. Well, with this TLC patch, the T-Rex is finally going to be able to traverse terrain properly and get over these stupid little rocks and everything. They're gonna give it a slight, I guess, movement buff or something, so it's gonna be able to like just walk over these rocks instead of just getting stuck behind everything, which is really, I mean, it's nothing major, but it's gonna really improve quality of life on the Ark when you're using T-Rexes. Even when you're riding on them, like they could still get stuck behind stupid little rocks, and it was really frustrating. It really was. Anyway, what else can it do? Its roar is getting a buff. The roar is gonna be able to make enemies poop themselves. This is like the best thing. I love Wildcard for the comedy behind this. You're gonna be able to make people poop themselves by roaring at them. I don't know if this also means creatures, because if this means creatures, then that is a game changer. If you're chasing down like, let's say like a pack of direwolves, okay? There's a player on one of the direwolves, he's got a little pack behind him, and they're running from you. If you're on a T-Rex, you roar at them. If this affects the direwolves, everything's gonna stop and poop. And as you guys know, in Ark, when creatures are stopping and pooping, like they literally stop in their tracks, poop, and then they have to go through the whole animation and then they can move again. So if you could actually like slow them down and catch up to them by making them poop themselves and then like run up and attack them, this is going to be fantastic. Now, I don't know if that's actually going to work, if it's going to work on enemy creatures or even just creatures in general. It might only work on players. I mean, if it only works on players, that's going to be really funny anyway, just being able to walk up to an enemy's base and make everybody poop themselves. Just fantastic. But there is going to be a little bit of a cooldown on it. They said that they don't want people to be able to poop block other people with like 10 Rexes all together, just constantly making somebody poop themselves. So yeah, that is it for the Rex. And that is the last creature that has been previewed for us. The TLC patch is coming in around the 18th of February, and I'm really excited. That's about a month away from now. Now, bear in mind, with Wildcard and their ETAs, it's probably going to be a little bit later, so probably, I guess, expect it before March, hopefully. I'd say it could probably come out in around like the 20th to the 28th or so. Just Wildcard and their ETAs. I mean, like, we can't expect it's actually coming out around this time anyway. But yeah, that's when it's coming out. There's a couple other creatures that they want to redo for this update as well, but they're saying that these creatures are creatures that they have in mind, but they're not definite. So some of those creatures are the Spino, the Sarco, the Carno, the Raptor, the Human Female, the Megaloceros, which is obviously the deer or the elk or whatever, the Plessy, and the RG. The RG is a very interesting one. I cannot wait to see what they do with that thing. But yeah, so Spino is obviously one that I'm really excited for. They gave the Spino a roar around last summer, which was pretty cool, but obviously now they're redoing it completely. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. Sarco is one that I'm, okay, that's pretty cool. I never really used Sarcos myself, but maybe I will now. The Carno is getting a buff, which is definitely needed. It needs some sort of stat buff because it is so far behind the likes of the Allo and the Megalosaurus and just all those kind of like medium large creatures that were introduced, that they're all kind of in around the same tier with the Carno, but the Carno is like the worst one out of all of them. So the Carno's getting a buff, which is really cool. The Raptor is obviously really fantastic, probably something close to what the Direwolf's got on the Raptor buff. The Human Female is getting a new model, I guess, probably no buffs. so that's pretty cool. And then the Megaloceros, pretty cool as well. Plesio, whatever. But the RG, yeah, definitely excited for that one. But yeah, guys, in general, what do you think about all these changes? Which one are you most excited for? What other creatures that I didn't mention here would you like to see get a new model and new buffs and everything? And talk about that down below, because I'm really interested in seeing some of this stuff. And you know, if we come up with some really cool ideas, we could even try to send them over to Wildcard. Maybe they might do them for us. We'll see. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more like this, you can of course subscribe, and we'll be seeing you in the next one.